What is up, guys? I do hope you're well. My name is Mark and today we're looking at some more r/am I the butthole. If you'd like to skip the initial waffle, timestamps are in the description and along the timeline below, but if you are new here, please consider hitting that like, that subscribe, and maybe that notification bell too, and that is only if you enjoy the content, of course. No pressure to do so. Yesterday, we had two lovely new members over on YouTube. We had John Hutchison and Jennison Suter. Thank you so much for joining us. Your support is really appreciated from the bottom of my heart. And for everyone for just taking the time out of your day to come here to spend time with me, listen to these stories, means the absolute world to me. So thank you so much. And with that being said, let's get straight in to today's stories. Much love, guys. And our first story comes from Adventurous Yam 2331. Am I the arsehole? I told my overweight co-worker if she ate like me, she would look like me. Alright, throwaway account, mostly because I'm at work and can't remember what my actual login is. I, 25 female, have been pretty skinny all my life. I eat healthily most of the time, exercise regularly, not consume my weight in Pop-Tarts, a real problem in college. I also don't think I'm better than fat people. I think obesity is a complex issue, and merely reducing the obesity epidemic to move more, eat less, doesn't take into account the socio-economic complexities, mental health issues, physical health issues, etc. I don't make comments like, oh my god, I'm so fat, when I eat a slice of cake. I don't talk about going on diets. I don't judge other people's food choices. I don't really care about what you eat. About 6 months ago, a co-worker named Diane, 40 female, transferred to our office. We are essential, so no work from home. She's overweight and has constantly made remarks about my food choices. If I eat a salad, she'll talk about how I have an eating disorder and promote toxic diet culture. She'll say my body is unnatural and real women have curves. One time, she even tried to make a case that the reason I'm still single is because men don't find my skinny body attractive. Sometimes though, she'd do a complete 180. She'd make remarks about how it must be nice to be young with a metabolism like mine, or to have genetics that allow me to eat whatever I want without gaining an ounce. Lady, weren't you just calling me anorexic yesterday because I had a salad for lunch? This constant harassment has really been getting to me. I feel like I can't eat in the office anymore. I have tried to get this to stop. I've told her firmly to stop. I've told her politely to stop. I have ignored her. I even went to HR and was told this wasn't harassment, so they couldn't do anything about it. Well, this all came to a head today. Ever since my first job, I've brought in spoopy Rice Krispie treats on the first day of October. They're just dyed orange and green with pumpkin and Frankenstein faces on them. I grabbed one and Diane said, I wish I could eat like you and still look like you. I said, if you ate like me, you probably would look like me. Grabbed another and walked back to my desk. Honestly, I didn't feel like I was the arsehole until another co-worker said that was extremely hurtful to Diane. When I pointed out she had been bullying me since she got here, the co-worker told me it wasn't the same. That was like using a racial slur against an African American bully. I went too far because I can't possibly understand the discrimination overweight women face, and I should have found another way to deal with it. I'll admit, having never been fat myself, I don't know the full extent of discrimination against fat people, and I do not want to stoop to the levels of bigots. But how am I supposed to deal with this? So random strangers on the internet, am I the asshole? First of all, I want a spoopy rice cake now. And second, what is HR doing? That is their purpose. How can they just dismiss your complaint like that? That's ridiculous that they haven't even thought of bringing it up with Diane. Holy shit. How is comments like, your body is unnatural and real women have curves, not bullying? Totally not on, so I can't say you're the arsehole in this story. You know, you're surrounded by it, even your co-workers are turning against you, so HR should definitely be getting involved. They're huge arseholes in this story. Let's have a look at the comments below to see what they say. Jaden LM says, not the arsehole, she is bullying you and because she is overweight it's fine. Like, when did that become a thing? Yes, you could have just ignored her, but hey, if she can't take it, she shouldn't dish it. Smitty1216 says, not the arsehole, turnabout is fair play here. You told her to knock it off repeatedly. She won't quit doing it and HR isn't going to help. I would not call you the arsehole if you started making fat jokes at her in retaliation. It's verbal self-defense as far as I'm concerned. Each time she does it to you, you do it right back. You may want to tell HR that they're wrong, by the way. Any commentary about your body that, if unwanted, is sexual harassment. HR doesn't decide what is and is not sexual harassment, the law does. Please tell your HR that you notified them, and due to their inaction, you will take legal action against her, as well as the company for permitting the continuation of a hostile workplace. They'll change their time really fast. And I would love to see HR's face if you said that to them. LaRock says, not the arsehole. By making repeated remarks about your body and your eating habits, she was opening herself up to response. It would have been rude for you to say that unprovoked, but pretty reasonable to snap back when someone harasses you constantly. Now, I'm going to turn this one to you guys. What do you guys think of this story? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to vote on that poll in the description for story 1. And our next story is from Fellow Monday. Am I the arsehole for telling my siblings I want nothing to do with our mother's funeral and won't help pay for it? I, 24 female, am the youngest of 5. My siblings are John, 33 male, Lucy, 32 female, Nathan, 30 male, and Erica, 28 female. Their, and possibly my, father left when our mother was pregnant with me. I say possibly mine because I do not know if he is my father or if another man is. Nobody does really. But anyway, our mother was an alcoholic and neglectful to us. My siblings all cut and run as soon as they could and left me alone with her. They never visited, refused to help me, and rarely called our mother. I was left to face her verbal abuse. I was there to pick up after her. She was not a good mother, and once I moved out, I cut her off completely. My siblings were upset I abandoned our mother. Our relationship has been tense since. I hate that they expected me to look after the woman who pushed me out, because that's all she did. Our mother became ill sometime last year, and in July, they were told she would not make it. I did not see her. They tried to talk me around, but like I told them, I made peace years ago, and I owed her absolutely nothing. She died very recently, and now they want me to attend the funeral and help pay for it. I said no. They tried to guilt me into it. I told them I want nothing to do with the funeral, and I was not going to spend a thing on the woman who treated me like shit. More guilt trips happened, and then I pointed out I did it alone for 4 years. I had to clean up her puke, bathe her, make sure she didn't hurt herself. I had to clean puke off myself more times than I care to remember. I had to fend for myself all alone. I did my time. I was done. They are pissed, upset, hurting, etc. and I get it, but I don't think I owe them either. They didn't help me when I needed it, so why should I help them now? Am I the arsehole? Now, I know she's OP's mother, but she said she was abusive to OP in this story. It sounded like an absolutely horrible time for OP, being the youngest at 24, and all her older siblings left her to fend for herself too. Yeah, I can totally understand where OP is coming from in this. And like she says at the end, she does owe them nothing. She done her time. She helped out she did what she could, and with no help from the other siblings. So I can't believe they're turning against OP and not taking her side, saying, look, we're sorry we abandoned you. And you know, I don't understand some people sometimes, man. And if they were turning against me like that, I would cut them all off. I wouldn't want nothing to do with them. If they're trying to pressure me into do something that I didn't want to do after all that time and guilt you into it, hell no. Not the arsehole in my opinion, but let's have a look at the comments below to see what they say. The Judgy Witch says, my siblings were upset I abandoned our mother. Not the arsehole. You didn't abandon her. You moved out as soon as you could, which is exactly what your siblings did. You spent a significant amount of time looking after her on your own. I'd say you've done more than your fair share. Elvish Foot says, not the arsehole. I think it's hypocritical of them to say you abandoned her when they left as soon as they could and didn't look back. I would have said no one's the arsehole here because they're also dealing with a neglectful childhood and all the trauma associated. But they have absolutely no right to hound you to be a part of anything you don't want to be. I think you're really strong for standing your ground here. All the best, OP. OP replies to this saying, this is how I feel. Like, I get they might have forgiven her and that's great for them. Maybe they can care more now. But that doesn't mean I need to. I was left alone with her the longest. I took care of her the most. I do not owe any of them more than I already did. Kabar8 says, you do not need to pay for the funeral of someone that was abusive towards you. No is a complete sentence, and you do not need to continue to put up with guilt trips. Send a final message. I've given you my answer. I will not be answering this question again. I will not be contributing, and I will not be attending. Not the arsehole. Hilarious Disaster says, in quotes, my siblings were upset and I abandoned our mother. As opposed to how they abandoned you. As a child. Fuck that. Not the arsehole. Laylee Bean says, not the arsehole. You've already done more than enough for your mother. You cared for her during the years that she was meant to care for you. She is gone. A funeral doesn't benefit her. It's for the living to grieve, and you aren't grieving because your mum left you many years ago. You've done more than any dutiful child is required to. Carry on without guilt. Now, what do you guys think of this story? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to vote on that poll in the description for story 2. And our next story is from a throwaway account. Am I the arsehole for saying my wife could have enlarged her boobs? My sister and I are arguing. I don't think I'm the arsehole, but my sister said I'm an arsehole and my wife deserves better. My wife had a double mastectomy and reconstruction within the last 6 months. She really struggled the first few months with insecurity. When she was going to get the reconstruction done, I told her I really wanted her to get them bigger. She didn't, and while I was bummed, I didn't say anything about it to her. My parents and sister came over today and saw her for the first time since her surgeries. My mum was saying how she looked exactly the same, and I jokingly said, right, she could have had an insurance paid boob job. Apparently, that was a bad thing to say. My wife started crying and said it was a dick move for me to have suggested it in the first place, knowing how insecure she felt, and it sucked. I was still hung up on it. My sister jumped all over my ass, and I was such an arsehole and my wife could do better. I said my wife was just being emotional, and now my dad's even mad at me, and when I asked what I said was so wrong, my dad said he didn't raise a moron. Was what I said really so offensive? My god, man. How can you be so clueless? I really don't understand people, how they cannot see what he said there was wrong. For someone to have a double mastectomy anyway, how awful that must have been for the wife to have gone through that, and the insecurity she felt, losing a part of herself, and her mental state and how she must have tried to get through that, for then the husband say, oh, you could get them bigger for me. Come on, man, really? I love the dad's comment in this though. I didn't raise a moron. Jesus. I did take a peek in the comments below before I actually read this as well, and there's some good ones in there. So, here we go. My anon account says, you're the arsehole. Imagine you had surgery done on your dick. It'd be quite embarrassing, right? I'm sure you wouldn't want anyone teasing you about it. Now imagine that surgery involved removing your dick and replacing it with a prosthetic. You'd feel pretty broken, right? That's your manhood gone. You'd probably feel a lot less attractive after going through that, not to mention feeling like you lost a part of yourself. Now imagine your wife asked you to get a bigger prosthetic, rather than going with your original size. That would suck. Not only would you have been through invasive surgery and lost a big part of yourself, but now your wife is telling you're unattractive and were too small for her liking even before the surgery. That's how you've made your wife feel. A bit of empathy would go a long way. Rose Petal Memories replies to this saying, now imagine she asked him for a bigger prosthetic and he said no, then she joked about it in front of company. I really disagree with his dad. Have I misread that dad comment or something? He said, I didn't raise a moron. I take that as like actually calling the OP a moron in this situation. That's what I'm taking it as anyway. If I got that wrong, please forgive me. The OP is a moron. Lizzie says, you're the arsehole. What the fuck is wrong with you, dude? Your wife undergoes a traumatic surgery and the only thing you can think of is big titties. Have some basic human empathy for fuck's sake. She had to have 2 very important parts of anatomy amputated and reconstructed. She's likely still in enormous pain. She had her breast removed for fuck's sake. Her breasts! Can you imagine how traumatic that is? And you're whining about cup size. The poor woman deserves the divorce in my opinion. Am I the arsehole? Drama says, you're the arsehole. You basically just told your wife at the worst time in her life that you were never happy with a part of her body that women are already conditioned to be insecure about. How would you like it if you had dick cancer and she was like, lol, get a new one that isn't a micro dick. Also, if everybody around you says you're the arsehole, then you're the arsehole. Dogs and Cats World says, you're the arsehole. I'm sorry for your dad, but he did raise an inconsiderate idiot. Your sister is right, your wife deserves better. And Jareth finishes it off with, you're the arsehole. What the fuck? Now, guys, oh my word, I can't believe. I know where it's going to go, right? But what do you guys think of this story? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to vote on that poll in the description for story 3. And our next story is from Happily Depressed 123. Am I the arsehole for not paying for my ex-co-worker's meal when he invited me out? So I started a new job about 2 months ago, making a lot more money than before. Due to the position in the company and the available public info, a lot of my ex-co-workers knew the ballpark figure I was making. An ex-co-worker I never really talked to called me and asked if I wanted to grab lunch, and I accepted. When we got to the restaurant, he started ordering food, and I started to notice he was ordering the pricey stuff on the menu. I got a small meal as the company I work for offers free lunch, and I did not want to burn money on a meal when I could get similar food for free as soon as I got back to work. He starts talking about how he's not making that much money and that he has too many high bills. I asked him if it was due to the Mustang GT he just bought. He got it fully loaded and it was like a 62k car. And he said that it's his dream car and he's always wanted it, so he thought it was worth it. After that, I told him if he willingly bought an expensive toy, he shouldn't be looking at bills, but should be concerned with an almost $1,000 monthly payment on something he bought when he knew he couldn't really afford it. We go into casual chit chat and I realise that I have to get back to work and ask for my check. He kind of looks at me weird when I ask for my check, then looks like he's getting upset. I assumed it was because I had to leave and he was enjoying the convo until he says, "Wow, you're best friends with a guy for 3 years and when he becomes successful he forgets everything you did for him and becomes a money hoarder. I told you I'm having financial problems and you're just going to hang me out to dry on a dinner." I got super mad and told him we never really talked when we worked together and we're not in the same team for us to have become close. I told him it's not my fault that he keeps buying the most expensive things he can see and he does not think about how he will be able to afford anything before he buys it. He calls me an a-hole and told me he should never have tried to stay in contact with me. Am I the arsehole in this situation? Well, how do people... I try to understand people's mindset when they're going through this. Like, this guy invited this OP out for dinner with the mindset that they were going to pay for the dinner. I don't understand how people have the audacity to do that. How they can think, yeah, they'll pay for me, and then starts ordering expensive stuff. I don't understand it. There's something in my brain which just can't understand this logic. So it's definitely not the arsehole in the situation, but also he got an expensive Mustang GT. It cost 60 odd K apparently. Oh my word, man. Who needs enemies when you've got friends like that, right? Let's have a look at the comments below to see what they say. Hot Confusion says definitely not the arsehole. This guy just wanted to freeload. A reasonable expectation among friends is to split the check, particularly when he bought so much and you so little. Rogue's Gambit says not the arsehole, sounds like he was using you for a free expensive meal. Cat says not the arsehole, this guy 100% just tried to use you for a free meal and got mad when it didn't work. Laserband says not the arsehole, he proved your point about being careless with money by ordering the expensive food. I wouldn't be surprised to find out if he planned for you to pay all along, that is why he ordered the pricey stuff. Also, really tacky to expect someone else to pay when you're the one that invited them out to eat. Dreaming Shark says not the arsehole, the general rules of inviting someone to eat out is that you split the bill, while the person who did the inviting covers the whole meal. Only a mooch would expect someone they invited to pay for their meal. And with him telling you the sob story about his financial woes, it's pretty obvious to me that he was trying to manipulate you into offering to pay for him. He just got mad because you didn't take the bait. Nematoad62 says lol, that he called you best friends. This is silly. He called you up out of the blue and invited you to lunch and then racking up a big bill. You don't owe him anything. Not the arsehole. Don't stay in contact with him. You're not really friends. And AK45 says not the arsehole at all. Fuck that guy. Chat on the Danger says not the arsehole. He was trying to guilt you and put you in a socially awkward position to get what he wanted. A free meal. I'm surprised he didn't ask you to pass his resume along to HR or something. That's what I was kind of expecting, that he wanted a job at OP's place, but that's what I was expecting at first, but yeah, nice one. Now, what do you guys think of the situation? Have you ever had something like that similar happen to you? I've heard it quite a few times where people offer to take their friends out and then expect them to pay when they actually go out with them. Crazy. We used to see that sort of stuff on Entitled Parents all the time. Anyway, what do you guys think of this story? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to vote on that poll in the description for story 4. Once again guys, thank you for being here. I hope you did enjoy today's stories. Yesterday we had a comment that some people were finding the poll system that we have in the description below confusing the way it's laid out. I thought it was pretty straightforward, but if it's not, if you know a better poll system, I'm always willing to try something new that might be more helpful to you. Obviously YouTube poll system doesn't work no more, so we can't go with that, but if you know something else, I'm more than willing to give it a go, so let me know. Anyway, hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Have a good one. Do something positive out there. And I will speak to you soon. Take care, guys. Much love.